Grand Theft Auto 4 is most renowned for its incredible storytelling experience as well as its amazing features, such as the physics, the combat, the fact that it is the first ever GTA to be in HD, and much more. However, the game is also known for its horrendous optimization on the PC port. Many would also agree that the gameplay sometimes feels clunky, and while it is good for its time, it unfortunately does not live up to the standards of modern gaming. So in this video, I'll be improving GTA 4's gameplay with mods, and the mods that I showcase in this video will remedy the many issues that the game has. Some of these mods will also append a few extra features into the game, especially some of the essential ones that were either unused or cut from the game originally. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, then don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as it does help me out. Let's jump into this. Number 1. Zolika Patch by Zolika1351. This is a mod that ultimately fixes the many issues that Grand Theft Auto 4 has, while also improving the game simultaneously. Allow me to demonstrate a few examples about how this mod fixes and improves GTA 4 in many different ways. Starting with borderless windowed mode. Unfortunately for GTA 4, windowed borderless mode was never made as an option, not even in its recent updates. But Zolika Patch has finally made this possible, where you can play the game in windowed borderless mode. There's also an option you can enable to where the game won't pause when out of focus or minimized. Bike sliding at high FPS. Bikes will oftentimes slide when riding them in GTA 4. Especially when making a turn, it exaggerates the turn and the bike slides. This is unfortunately caused when the game operates at high FPS. Here's an example of that. This issue has been remedied by Zolika Patch, where riding and turning bikes at high frame rates won't randomly slide anymore.
We're gonna teach you a lesson for getting into other people's business.
Cutscene fixes. You might have noticed that the cutscenes in GTA 4 sometimes have random jittery motion and weird moments where the camera will zoom in way too much. This is also because of GTA 4 operating at high FPS. Thankfully, Zolika Patch has fixed this issue entirely. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the various cutscenes with and without Zolika Patch installed.
Where's luxury condo? Where's sports car? Where's Barbara with big titties and Stephanie who sucks like a vacuum?
What are you talking about?
In your letters to my mother, in your letters to me, all I hear about is Mr. Big, Mr. Roman, living the American dream. Sports cars, condos, women, money, the beach, opportunity. I come here and the only thing big about your life is the cockroaches.
Improved loading times. Zolika Patch also improves the game's loading times drastically, making it seem like GTA San Andreas' loading times. There was also a fix incorporated into Zolika Patch, which removes the 20+ second wait time before the game starts up. Take a look at the comparison side by side of GTA 4 starting up with and without Zolika Patch. As you can see, Zolika Patch makes the game load much quicker. Out of commission climbing QTE fix. For reference, QTE abbreviates the term Quick Time Event. In the mission Out of Commission, there's this infamous bug that takes place during the QTE where Niko has to climb into the helicopter that little Jacob is flying. This bug unfortunately takes place when the game operates at high FPS. To remedy this bug, you would have had to pause the game, tap out of the game, open Task Manager, and set the processor affinity of the game to only one processor, then resetting it to all processors after the QTE is complete. Well, now Zolika Patch remedies this bug entirely without you having to go through the Task Manager and all that stuff.
Get down, baby! Climb!
Niko, you make it, Rasta.
No thanks to you. You tried to ditch me?
Death music restored. Grand Theft Auto 4 long ago was supposed to have death music, which plays after dying in the game. But for whatever reason, it was scrapped, which didn't make any sense to me. The nice thing about Zolika patch is that it is restored if enabled in the settings. There are a bunch of notable improvements that Zolika 1351 has made to GTA 4 with the use of this patch, such as vehicles now even casting their own shadows, head and player models now dynamically cast shadows, and objects also dynamically cast shadows. And even fixing the mouse dead zone issues and slow sniper aiming speed problem without having to adjust your mouse sensitivity whatsoever. You can find all of these changes and options on the mod's web link that's down below in the description, which are briefly shown on the screen here. Number 2. GTA 4 Extra Options by Zolika 1351. On the topic of Zolika's mods, I figured that it's worth mentioning this mod. This is a mod that incorporates extra tweaks and options to the pause menu in GTA 4, which helps improve the quality of gameplay. This is divided into 3 sections: Controls, Display, and Game. We'll start with Controls. Under Controls, we have a few options that can affect the gunplay and helicopter movement. From all of the options listed in this section, the Allow Movement When Zoomed option struck out to me the most. What does this option do exactly? Normally in GTA 4, you're unable to move while zooming into the scope of a sniper rifle. You can freely aim as you wish, but you cannot move. But enabling this option, Allow Movement When Zoomed, allows you to move around while aiming into a sniper scope and zooming in and out of it. That is pretty game changing if you ask me, especially since sniper movement has always been allowed in other games. Under the display section, you can modify the FOV, or known as the field of view, using a slider, and also enable or disable the intermezzo cam. For those who don't know what the intermezzo cam is, it's the camera that activates cinematically while falling down from a large height, climbing over an object of some kind, or entering a garage of some kind, like the Pay and Spray. You can also enable or disable having a crosshair and having pickup close display. Lastly, there's one more option in the game section, which is small, but you can have a quick menu fade, kind of like how GTA 4's online mode has it. So this time whenever you pause the game, it quickly fades into the pause menu as opposed to being slow and sluggish. Number 3. DXVK by doitsujin. As you might have noticed, GTA 4 tends to stutter and jitter quite a bit. Of course, performance plays a huge role in the aspect of gameplay. So let's fix this with DXVK. DXVK improves and fixes the performance of GTA 4. The term DXVK is short for DirectX to Vulkan. It's a Vulkan-based translation layer for DirectX 9, 10, and 11 games. Games like Grand Theft Auto 4 are ran using DirectX 9. However, the game performs poorly under DirectX 9, thus making the game feel more jittery and having frame rates that lower substantially. Installing DXVK will now make the Direct3D API now translate to a Vulkan-based one for GTA 4. Here's a side-by-side comparison of GTA 4's performance with and without DXVK installed with the same graphical settings. As you can see, DXVK improves the performance of the game substantially. To show the comparison in greater detail, here is a graph of the FPS versus time in seconds. The red line corresponds to the demonstration with DirectX 9 and the blue line corresponds to the one with DXVK. However, it should be noted that the results I get will be inconsistent with everybody else's. Each person's experience with DXVK will be different and unique depending on their PC and visual display specifications. You can check mine out that are listed at the very bottom of this video's description. There is a limitation to using DXVK though. your GPU must support Vulkan and a certain API version of it. As of right now, DXVK version 2.3 requires having Vulkan API version 1.3. In the description, I have provided 3 links, one to the download and 2 other ones to help you discover whether or not your GPU is compatible with Vulkan API. Number 4, Responsive Plus by iCriminal. This is a mod that refines the gameplay of GTA 4 by enhancing the elements of driving and combat. Some miscellaneous improvements have also been added that also touch up the quality of the game. Allow me to demonstrate a few significant examples as to how this mod improves the gameplay. We'll start with the combat. The gunplay has been refined to be even more realistic and is also made to be more challenging, which I see as a way of improving the gameplay. Here are a few ways that the mod has done that. First of all, the weapons now deal extra damage with the Responsive Plus installed.
Away from me. You should have run away from me. This. Don't want to make me finish you off.
But the challenge behind that is that the NPCs can now also deal extra damage to the player.
You're too dangerous to be on the streets. Give it up, you're surrounded.
The ammo prices in the game have been increased by the mod's doing, where the AK has been increased from $80 to $200 per mag, and the M4 has been increased from $100 to $250 per mag. This is also sided with the ammo capacities being nerfed, where now the micro SMG holds 32 rounds instead of 50, the pump shotgun holds 4 shells instead of 8, and the combat shotgun holds 8 shells instead of 10. Therefore, those weapons now cost extra to be filled up, and the money becomes even more of a meaningful digit in the game, since the money by default isn't that big of a deal whether you had a lot of it or very little of it. But this time, with Responsive Plus, it is a big deal. Let's talk about the driving. A few vehicle tweaks have been made to GTA 4 by Responsive Plus, which refines the driving mechanics in a few different ways. Some notable tweaks were made to the transmission and suspension of vehicles. The acceleration has also been increased quite a bit for a lot of vehicles, making things seem more responsive, no pun intended. And here's a few notable enhancements made to the game by Responsive Plus as well. First of all, the arms dealers in the gun shops now have NPC models that make more sense. And secondly, certain time cycles changes have been made to adapt a more visual appeal from the console versions of GTA 4. More details about the adjustments made by Responsive Plus can be found on the GTA forums page, which is linked below and also leads to the download link to this mod. Number 5, Improved Animations Pack by Dawg. This mod sounds simple, but it is an absolute game changer. Here are some of the notable features of the mod that ultimately improves the elements of combat. The assault rifles in GTA 4 have a firing delay, to which semi-firing them looks a bit clunky and awkward. Take a look at the delay for firing an assault rifle after triggering the action. And now take a look at what it looks like trying to semi-fire the weapon. Pretty bad, right? Incorporating the improved animations pack fixes this delay, now allowing for the assault rifle to immediately fire upon triggering the action. Combating against the NPCs have now become more difficult as the NPCs now shoot at the same rate of fire as you always do, instead of it always being slowed down. The drive-by rate of fire for the player is now increased with this mod, where beforehand it used to be much more slow. The assault rifle in the game now has a proper reload animation to where the animation consists of taking out the mag, putting another one in, and cocking back the gun. Originally, the player would just cock the gun as a way of reloading the ammo in the assault rifle. This was obviously a strange type of way for reloading the weapon. This fix also applies to the Lost and Damned's assault shotgun as well. And of course, there are some other fixes that were made to the reload sounds of certain weapons, but I'd like to think that this mod is definitely game changing and improves the combat effectively. Number 6, Liberty Tweaks by catsmackaroo. This is a mod that improves the quality of life for Grand Theft Auto 4 by making the gameplay feel more immersive and challenging. Quick saving is now made possible with this mod. It's actually pretty nice in the sense of being able to save from wherever you want in the click of a button without having to do it at a safe house. Holstering and unholstering weapons are now made much easier with the use of this mod. You can now bring out or stow away your weapons with the click of a button, rather than having to do it with the mouse wheel or the directional pads of a controller. Weapon magazines, rockets, and shotgun shells are now visible when reloading your weapons. This feature, combined with the refined assault rifle loading animations from the improved animations pack, makes reloading weapons look much more cooler. Here's a demonstration of rockets and shotgun shells. Health regeneration is now here with Liberty Tweaks. To give yourself the fighting chance in combat, the mod assists you in regenerating your health when the health bar itself is flashing red. Sometimes the NPCs will beam you and get you to low health, especially with Responsive Plus, so this is pretty cool to have when things like that happen. There are also some cool fixes applied to the police in-game with the use of Liberty Tweaks. You can now lose your wanted level stars progressively while staying hidden from the police in the red and blue flashing zone. This actually makes sense having this function in, considering that the manhunt would realistically begin to conclude at some point while the suspect is in proper hiding. In addition to that, uniformed police officers will now wear body armor when your wanted level is at 4 stars or higher. Another notable feature added to the game is gaining a wanted level over having your weapons unholstered and equipped while the police are nearby. Minor elements of driving have been purified to where A, cars no longer overtake you obnoxiously with the overtaking fix feature, B, the brake light of your car finally turns on once you've come to a stop, and C, the wheels of the vehicle you're driving stay in the turn position that they're in before you leave it. There are some other miscellaneous fixes and options that are applied to GTA 4 with Liberty Tweaks, and here are some of the ones I'll mention. Unique lines of dialogue while in combat, picking up items, and falling down from large heights have been added.
What a terrible place to die. You are the dead. You think you're tough. But then my mother does not live in cage and zoo. I better have that. I think your material needs are no longer important. Thank you very much.
NPCs now have enhanced precision and accuracy, making things slightly more challenging. There are some features in the mod that I ended up disabling, that being the movement with the sniper rifle and the tweakable FOV, since the mod GTA 4 Extra Options by Zolika 1351 is already doing this for me. You can also disable any of the other features if you so wish, but I decided to keep the rest on. All in all, this is a pretty cool game-changing modification to Grand Theft Auto 4's gameplay. Number 7. Bullet Penetration by Internet Rob. This mod fixes the issue that GTA 4 has of materials being impenetrable, and here are some really good examples of how this mod fixes that. Starting with cardboard. Shooting through the cardboard boxes were previously impenetrable, but this mod flips the switch and now makes cardboard penetrable. Windows. Most of the windows in the game are bulletproof. This mod also flips the switch on that and now makes all glass penetrable. Wood. Wood planks and wooden fences are now penetrable, as they should of course. Other wooden objects that are slender or thin are also penetrable. Thicker wooden objects though, such as wood on the trees, are impenetrable still. You can now also shoot through plastic, such as a trash bin with this mod. Other materials such as rubber, fragile, or susceptible materials are now easily penetrable. You can shoot through cushions and sofas, as you weren't able to do any of this before. Beaten and Bruised by Internet Rob. This is an animation mod pack that is designed to make NPCs react to their injuries more differently and realistically. These animations are triggered depending on the severity of the injury on the NPC. Here are some instances of that. We'll start out with minor injuries. Now minor injuries, such as a shot to the abdomen, makes NPCs hold their wound and run. Moving on to major injuries. A severely injured NPC would typically get up from the ground and limp away from where they're at to get to a safer location. However, this animation has been improved to where their injuries seem to be more severe, to the point where they might collapse at any moment because of the agony that they're suffering. Unconsciousness. When NPCs get taken down, they typically lay on the ground with an animation that has them laying face up. However, Internet Rob, the developer of the mod, has incorporated an animation that has them laying face down, as they would realistically most of the time. Crawling. Instead of standing up to move somewhere after being severely injured, NPCs will now try to crawl away on the ground to a safer location. This is a very realistic animation since I'd imagine that standing up feels more painful than having to crawl on the ground to a safer location. Now while this mod may not alter the combat physically, it certainly makes the effective combat feel more immersive. This is because the animations are unique and they effectively correspond to the severity of your actions on the NPCs. Number 9. Simple Traffic Loader by ItsClonkAndre. I've talked about this mod before in a video that I have up called Top 10 Mods to Make GTA 4 More Realistic, but I figured that it's worth bringing up again, especially since it improves the gameplay. The Simple Traffic Loader mod essentially fixes a major issue that most people have with modding GTA 4. That is the famous taxi bug, where only taxis will spawn. That's a huge reason why a mod like this is significant for improving your gameplay. In addition to that, you can adjust the configuration to this mod where you can specifically select what cars you'd like to see driving on the streets and in what boroughs, and as many cars as you'd like to see. Number 10. Sprint in Interiors by Scott1. I find it to be quite annoying when the player is unable to sprint inside of buildings. This makes things feel rather slow-paced and sluggish. This is what the Sprint in Interiors mod fixes, where you can now sprint freely in buildings as you please. Number 11. Another One Map in Radar by Donnits et al. With this mod, you are able to see a lot of the elements on the map more visibly, such as the different side streets, alleyways, and building outlines. I think this is especially good if you're trying to get away from the cops and need to hide in those tucked away areas, or if you need to go through shortcuts while chasing down an enemy in the game. What I also like about this mod is the fact that you can see the street names very clearly. There is an option to remove the street names, but I chose to keep them in. I'd also like to imagine that a radar map mod like this helps you familiarize yourself with the geographic of Liberty City much better too. Number 12. No Cursor Escape by ItsClonkAndre. If you're a person who plays GTA 4 on a 2 or more monitor setup, then you might sometimes notice that the cursor goes onto your other screen while playing, ultimately messing up whatever programs you have opened on there, such as a web browser or a YouTube video like this one. Installing the No Cursor Escape mod completely eliminates that problem and keeps the mouse cursor locked into GTA 4's window. The only other time when the cursor can escape from GTA 4 is when you tab out of game. Number 13. Customizable Niko by Donnits. This mod advances the player customization in Grand Theft Auto 4 by augmenting extra clothing options into the game for Niko. By doing so, many different types of tops, bottoms, shoes, special items such as bags and body vests, even masks and gloves are now available to the player. It also incorporates many different types of hair and facial hairstyles for Niko, allowing him to look entirely unique as opposed to the way you would typically see him. However, in order to use these extra clothing options, you will either need to install Z-Menu 4, which is a trainer, or install the mod called Better Wardrobes by Zolika 1351. This mod replaces the slowed down and sluggish version of the wardrobe into something quicker and much more advanced. The reason why this mod is recommended is because the added clothing options from the Customizable Niko mod aren't available in the clothing shops. A nice feature of the mod though is being able to save your outfits and use them at any point in time. This way you can save different clothing variations, like maybe an outfit with a nice suit that has matching colors, or a nice set of clothes specifically for when it's raining outside. All that good stuff. Number 15. Whiz Wireless Phone by Chicken. I always found the phone in GTA 4 to look super bland and incomplete. However, this mod replaces the current phone in game to a much more realistic version of what Niko should have. I think it's pretty cool and makes the gameplay feel more immersive. Grand Theft Auto 4 on the PC has substantially improved with these mods. The nice thing about all these mods is that they're compatible on patches 1070 and 1080, but not the complete edition of GTA 4. I would strongly suggest that you use patch 1080 since it is the only older version of the game that has the best performance, and it again works well with these mods. If you did enjoy this video, then hitting the like button and subscribing helps me out tremendously. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like to learn how to downgrade GTA 4 to patch 1070 or patch 1080, then check out the tutorial video that is on the top left of the screen. For any other mods to improve GTA 4 in other aspects, check out the video that's on the top right of the screen. The video on the bottom of the screen showcases 2 mods that beautifies the visuals and graphics of GTA 4, that being Ice Enhancer 4 and Project Revive. Thank you for watching once again, and take care.